Hello, my dear ones, and welcome to the very first episode of the Blue Chair podcast. You can feel the nerves and the emotions. You're here in a podcast for women on a path of self reclamation. The Blue Chair is a refuge where books become doors and stories become mirrors. We sit together and we speak honestly about the lives we are building, away from expectations and conditionings, away from glossy, picture perfect Instagram stories. We keep it real, raw, and authentic. And today, we're joined by our beautiful Jessica. Welcome, Jessica.
Hi.
Would you like to share a bit more about you?
Sure. So thank you so much for having me, Miha. I'm really honored to be the first guest of your podcast on your first live, I believe. So this is
Yes, it is. Everything is a first today. Camera's working, mic's working, hopefully.
there you go. So I'm Jessica. It's always difficult to give a little bio because there's a lot to put in a tiny box, but I'm a copywriter. I'm a web designer. I help women in business be more visible, especially those who are highly sensitive, because I am highly sensitive. So I understand how this challenges us. But we're not here to talk about my work. So I'm also a homeschooling mom. I have two children. I'm married, happily married. And I am originally from Belgium and I currently live in Portugal, but I've moved a bit around in the last 10 years. So, yeah.
This is very briefly, Jessica. I have to say, Jessica is my one and only. The Blue Chair exists because of Jessica. We've been working together for a few years now. Different hats that she's worn again through the years, from my French coach to human design coach to coach in different. And here we are, my right hand in the Blue Chair. And thank you, Jessica, for being here, for being my first guest, and for helping me build the Blue Chair.
My pleasure.
But beyond that, I have a huge, tiny question.
A huge, tiny question.
Because we've mentioned the Blue Chair podcast, and the Blue Chair space is about self reclamation. So, my dear Jessica, what is a moment in your life that you consider a turning point toward self reclamation?
It's a big question. A big question, and I've had to think a little bit before joining you here live and think, okay, what was the first one? Because of course there's been a series of moments. But to be able to pinpoint it to the first one is interesting, and I want to share before I tell you what's the moment and what happened. That I think this is something that a lot of us have experienced. You know, we all have been through difficult moments, through challenges, to um, difficulties. This is what life is about. It's not the only thing that life is about, but we are all challenged in ways that make us grow. And you know, I've always, when I was younger, when I was a child, a teenager, a young woman, I've always wanted to be the nice girl, the kind girl, to the cool girl, the like, no, I don't need anything, and okay, everything is perfectly fine like this, and I didn't want to disturb order so much, and of course, it's a survival mechanism. It's a what we've been taught as well as as girls, as women, to be the nice girl, to be nice, to be compassionate, and all that things. And so I've always, given grace, and always had this tendency to justify other people's bad actions, or to say, oh, it's because he's like this, or because they're like that, or they didn't really mean it. And but if they reacted badly to something that I would have said or acted, then I would of course question myself and take it like, oh, it's me, like I caused that to happen. It's my fault. So basically I was gaslighting myself a lot, abandoning myself a lot. And I, you know, can go back to my story a little bit. I was adopted. So abandonment is a theme for anyone who's been adopted. I think that's quite natural. It's a theme for people who haven't been adopted but have been through a wound around abandonment. So it's not only particular to adopted people, but basically I was abandoning myself over and over. But there was always a moment. It's a very interesting question, because it helped me to go back to my own threads, of life. Like, but I can really see there's always been a moment where this inner fighter, survivor woke up, and like that's the match point. You've seen the movie Match Point by Woody Allen.
Yeah.
The moment where there is no going back. There's a moment where this wakes up and it's like, I'm seeing everything very clearly now, and I'm done. This first time, and I'm building the suspense here. The first time that the survivor woke up, the survivor Jessica woke up, was when I put an end to an abusive relationship, and I was 26. It was in 2010, so I think 26, 27, that age. And it was a very difficult moment of my life. It's very tender. I don't think I've ever talked about it, or very briefly. I think I've been in business for 10 years. I think I wrote one email about it, and it was very brief, because it's not a part of my story that I'm very keen on sharing, first of all, or remembering, let's say. And I think for a long time I carried the shame of having been in that abusive relationship. So 2010, I had been in that relationship with this person. I think we can share their first name, because that's not going to give anything. Vincent. As I say,
Hi, Vincent.
you can still hear my voice, like Vincent. And Vincent was an interesting person. Vincent was a tortured poet, the kind that you fall for when you're a young girl and you're thinking, oh, wow, someone who has depth, someone who has soul, someone who clearly has been through a lot of, I don't know what, but this is dark. Ooh, why am I attracted to the darkness? Well, I was attracted to the darkness. And we started our relationship, and he didn't want to be in an exclusive relationship when we met. It's very interesting, because I was really in that, I don't know, in that phase of my life where everything's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So
as long as you're around this aura.
As long as you show me that I'm lovable, to be precise. So he did show me that I was lovable, desirable, special, because he was a difficult guy. So if he was, to be around me, I must really be special. I'm laughing at myself.
We're giving a huge hug to Jessica, the young Jessica.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's interesting because, like I said, it was 2010, we're in 2026 now. So it's 16 years, and I've changed a lot, I've grown a lot, and it's almost like another life, another person.
It is another life, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so we were not in an exclusive relationship. Oh, yeah, he was not in an exclusive relationship, to name a cat a cat. I was on the surface okay with that, and then a few months later, I managed to convince him to actually go exclusive, which he accepted and make me really understand and see that, oh my god, I have never done that for anyone, and I'm doing this for you. And I regret it dearly, because that's the moment he became emotionally abusive, super possessive, controlling. Things like, I couldn't cut my hair without first consulting with him. He would control what I ate, where I went, who I talked to. He woke me up every night to ask me, what is this truth that I'm hiding from him, that he knows I'm hiding something? And please tell me what you're hiding, because I'm here so in love with you, and you are hiding this horrible thing from me, and I deserve to know the truth. So it was extreme, really, really extreme. I don't know how I stayed for so long, honestly, but things went, it went gradually. I'm telling you things here. It's a bit, of a mixture of the story. It wasn't as bad right away, but there were signs that gradually became, more and more obvious, and it became more and more difficult. And he isolated me from my family, from my friends, everyone in his terms. Everyone was manipulating me and not seeing me, and etc., etc. And really, of course, he was the one
The one seeing you.
manipulating me. He was the one saving me, and the only one who also was willing to stay with someone as damaged as me, of course. But I was very vulnerable, and I believed him, and I was grateful. And I thought, I'm so damaged and so broken and so terrible that I should not be here and I should die. But he's accepting me, and maybe because he's accepting me, maybe I have a chance of becoming better. Becoming better. That's a
Redeeming yourself, self-reclamating.
wow. So that was pretty
And
bad. Yeah.
your waking up moment,
My
how
waking up moment was when I found myself in the shower with a razor. And I thought, no, no. And I went out of the bathroom, and I still see it. I'm seeing it in front of my eyes. I went out of the bathroom with my towel on, and I went to see him, and I told him, it's over. You pack your bags and you go. That's the first moment of self reclamation.
thank you for sharing. First of all, this is not something that
Yeah.
you share lightly. So thank you for trusting me and trusting us here in this space with this moment, this tender moment of your life.
Hmm. I think it's important. I'm sharing it. It's not to feel sorry about myself or anything, I don't feel sorry for I feel proud more than anything, but it's to I think it's important that we share these moments, because I know I'm not the only one. And there's so much shame around it. So much, when you go through, I have a friend as well who's been through an abusive marriage, has had a child with that person, and like she was telling me, like, I'm a smart woman. We are educated, we know the signs, but when you are inside of it, it's not that easy, because when you are with an abusive person, they push your boundaries little by little by little. And everything that you accept is now a new normal. And in your own mind, it's a new normal. In your own mind, it's like, but he did that before. So, what's different? And it's never hit me, you know?
Of course, he's never hit you. Why are you complaining? He's never hit you.
Right.
Yes, unfortunately, That is sometimes the case when we, sometimes the emotional abuse is hidden and we
Yeah,
find excuses and we
yeah.
become masters at finding excuses.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So it was a dark moment. I was in depression. I quit my job. I didn't know what I was going to do with my midlife crisis, if you want. Not
And
midlife, quarter life,
quarter life,
quarter, because
exactly.
I was around 25 or something like that. But the moment I took this decision of telling him to fuck off, uh, basically, something really shifted inside of me, and I really felt like I'm choosing my life. I'm choosing to live. I won't say again, but I'm choosing to live. And it took a bit of time before he actually left because he had to find another apartment, etc., etc. Those were actually, you know how it is in an abusive relationship when you leave, it's the moment that you're the most at risk. You think it's before, but really it's after. And I remember, so it was between, I think, 2 or 3 months before we actually left my apartment. But I, uh, no, he slept in in the living room where I had a big place, and I slept in my own room. But I was sleeping every night with my bag, my phone, my keys, and I would lock myself inside the door because he came up with crazy things, like he had unplugged the phone or things like that. That was like not feeling safe really. I would get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and he would be in the dark, sitting on the bathroom floor. It's like, what the heck are you doing? I know you lied to me. Oh my god, this is a horror movie, really. I could make that's my next thriller book. I'm gonna write it.
Exactly. I was about to say that. We have
um,
the transcript of the video we're writing. It's in the writing as we speak.
Yeah, yeah. But so when he finally left, and I remember it was May 2nd, 2010, which is interesting, is the birthday of my current boyfriend, husband. That's really interesting. I like to see signs somewhere. Um, May 2nd, he finally left, and I didn't sleep at all that night. I was worried that he wouldn't leave, so I was really waiting for him to go, to actually go. And he left, and I felt like I was reborn. I felt like this was the time for me to break all these walls. I cleaned my house. He was a heavy smoker. I was a heavy smoker at the time. Our walls were yellow. Everything was always in darkness. It's just a vampire. I was living with a vampire. So I had to open everything and clean everything. And interestingly, the period right after his departure was what I called at the time my nirvana, because I was so high. It's as if I had been on drugs for 3 months after that. It's like, oh my God, everything is amazing. Life is beautiful. I'm free. I have friends. I reconnected with people. I went out every day. I went to party. I did so many things that I was really reclaiming my life for myself. And I think it really set a precedent of not taking bullshit anymore, or not taking that amount of bullshit anyways. um and to really pay attention, like, I think when you've been manipulated to that extent, or when you grew up with a manipulative parent, for instance, it gives you kind of a radar that when someone tries to manipulate you again, like, it goes off immediately, and it's like, mm, no.
You're reading the signs very quickly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And if you were to, I don't know if we should give advice, but maybe some tips, some guidance. If there's
It's
someone out there, of course, each woman, each girl has her own turning point and she needs to reach, hopefully, still safely enough, that point. But
I want to say two things. I want to say something for the woman who is in an abusive relationship and knows it, because first you have to know it to realize it. And I also want to say something for the person who is witnessing someone in an abusive relationship or in a situation like that. If you are in that situation yourself, trust your mind. I don't think that having that survival part of me is only inherent to me. I think we all have it. I think we dismiss it. I think we try to say, no, don't be dramatic. It's not that bad. It's really scary to hear it because it pushes you for a change that you don't always feel that you're ready to take, but you are ready. You are ready. So make sure that you trust yourself. That's the first thing, because I have experienced it, and I know that many times I did not trust my own voice. I didn't trust my wisdom. That's what I gave up. And that's when I was the most vulnerable. I questioned my sanity, really. Um, in the end, by the way, it turned out that this Vincent was himself not sane, and I found out because an event, a situation really went to higher extremes. Where at one point, one night, I came home from work. I was teaching night classes, language classes at night, and I came back, and he told me that they were listening to us and that we had to pack our bags and go right now. And that's the moment I decided, really on survival instinct, I'm going to play along. I'm going to play along because if I go against him, like he's still trying to protect me right now. So, and I was like, okay, sure, let's go in the shower because we can hear, if we turn on the shower, they cannot hear us. So let's talk to me, explain to me. And then he explained that they had been listening to us and we were in danger. They would come anytime, whatever. So I told him, okay, listen, I have a class right now, so I'm going to go to my class, and when I come back, we will leave. And instead of going to my class, I called my school. I said I can't come, and I went to a doctor. What it was doctor or police, one or the other. So I went to a doctor, and I told them what happened and please tell me what to do, because I was really at a loss for what to do next. And he showed up. He called me and he was like, I came to pick you up at your class. And I'm like, I'm at the doctor. And so he came to the doctor's office with a knife. Well, it was a knife to spread butter, but
But a knife is a knife.
He said, I want to warn you, I have a knife. Okay. So the doctor told us to immediately go to the emergency room, which we did. The emergency room, that's where I learned the whole story, that he had been in psychiatry before, and he was, how do you call it? So he had schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia. And so when I met him, he had been in an apartment. He had been, he was under medication, etc., etc. So nothing. It was weird, but not in a way that you think this guy has a mental problem. At least not in a way that I thought he had a mental problem. And
your radars were asleep at that time. You wanted to have your own Vampire's Diaries session.
Maybe, I don't know. It was the time of Twilight. It was kind of
exactly
a thing. Anyways, but so if I had listened, to myself, if I had listened to the sounds, not to the sound, because I hear your sounds. Hi, doggy. It's okay. Life is lifing. If I had listened to my own thoughts, if I had listened to my wisdom, to this voice that's telling me a million times, get out, something's not normal, this is not, there were signs before this extreme, but that extreme made it like, this is not possible. Like, this is not, you cannot go beyond this. This is something you had to, I mean, this is the reality. But still, I want to share this. I remember still, I thought, oh my God, he is sick. It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
Of course, it's not his fault.
So yes. I need now to make sure that he is treated well. This is what I owe him. I owe him to stay with him and to support him through this. And that's when my father intervened. And my father came at my apartment one day, and I had not invited him. And he just showed up, something he would never do. He showed up. Vincent was there, and he told him, "Oh, we had an appointment. She's not here," because my father was the only one that Vincent would not isolate me from. I think he knew it was quite impossible to do that. And so my father saw me. We had a walk around my apartment, and he told me, "Life is too short to be the martyr of anyone. So you do what you want, but it's your life. It's not his life. It's your life." And that really gave me, I think, this extra boost of like, I don't have to sacrifice myself for someone, even in the name of love. Um,
It's beautiful how he gave you space to choose while pointing out the obvious.
yeah. And that's what I wanted to say. Like, if you're witnessing someone who is in a situation of abusive relationship, they're not aware of it, or maybe they're aware of it, but they still want to stay, and they forgive the person, they whatever, the situation. If you see that, you have the urge to shake them and say, "Get out!" Don't do it.
It's not going
Don't
to
do it.
work.
No, everyone around me who tried got kicked out, because then it becomes, and it's not because I was mean or angry, it's because he was manipulating me. It was like, see what they're doing. And so it's like, oh yeah, they're against me, they don't want this for me, they don't want that for me, etc., etc. They don't know what it's like, they don't know what I'm like, they don't know what he's like. But if you really want to help them, you need to really listen, give the space, give the choice, make sure you don't say anything negative against that other person, but you're there for them. And that's a way to empower them to then see for themselves and make the actions that they want to take. In the end, I left. I woke up. I got out of that shower and told him, "That's enough. You got to go." But what I had heard before from my father, and knowing that my father was there for me, helped me, to say, like, I have someone that can help me. I have someone outside of here. And yes, so if you're in, trust yourself. If you're out, trust them, but give them the tools to trust them.
And always be there and support and offer the space.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome.
Whew, it's been a ride. Quite a turning point for self-reclamation.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I hope that this is going to help other people as well, and that they can see that in, if you've had a similar story and you carry maybe shame around it or anything, I would really invite you to reframe that and find your power, because this is a very powerful, you have a lot of power for having survived this. And this is what we need to really, it's really part of the self-reclamation process as well, because things happen in our life. And if we think, oh, this happened to me, so I went through this, I went through that, it's hard, it's hard, it's hard, but if you just look at it different, look what you've been through, look how powerful and strong and resilient you are, nothing can bring you down. This is the lesson, you got that strength.
Whispers of inner power, Jessica.
Yes, going back to my own channel. Mary Beth says thank you for sharing. I'm very, very happy.
Thank you to all of you for being here. And indeed, I think it's beyond whispers. I mean, it was really loud.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
And you've built this inner power now, and you're sharing with the others. And thank you so much. I'm speechless now.
It's okay. We can wrap it up, Nihad. There's no need to say anything. Yes, I was happy to share this, and really for me it was this first step, like I said before, that then it made it easier when I've done this, so you know.
You can do the rest. So nothing is challenging
I mean,
anymore.
it is challenging, but the compass inside says, but you're not taking shit, but your life matters. In the end, that's the message. Your life matters.
Life is lifing every single day, and it really matters.
Yes.
Thank you to, wow, we have so many people here. Florence, Clementine, Anka, Mary Beth, Renata, William, Hiker, Eatonly Untold. Thank you everyone for joining us, for being here with us, for listening to us. We have a gorgeous woman sitting in the blue chair. And I hope you take with you, after listening to our conversation, the whispers of inner power and the loud voice that wants to be heard from within. And I hope you're not going through such a situation. And if you know anyone around you, you can be a safe space for them and help them self-reclaim. Thank you, Jessica, for bringing the truth to the conversation.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.